So, in my last video I had different opinion on the episodes than others, and that's why I got some solo leveling's fans angry. If you don't agree with my points of views about the episodes, just explain it properly, and don't type it in the comments like these two kids did. Before I start talking about this episode, I just wanted to say that's all, and let's start with the beginning of this episode. It started with Jinhu waking up in the hospital with no sign of him losing a leg or hand, and then questions himself if the dungeon was a dream. After that, Wu Jinchu, who is chief of the surveillance team at Hunters Association, starts to question him that the casualties like this rarely happen. His companions found his body near the entrance of the dungeon, and Wu Jinchu suspects him, but why? I don't get it. Since there is no traces or remnants of that dungeon, I wonder if it was an instance dungeon like we see Jinwoo go into at the end of the episode. If those exist in other dimensions so that other people can't perceive them, so it would explain the lack of evidence of that dungeon. Then Wujinchu asks him if he experienced reawakening. Only few hunters will experience second awakening and they will surpass their limits and become ace rank or A rank hunters. Wujinchu asked him like it happened before with hunters getting second awakening, so maybe Jinwoo is not the only one with that ability. He gets all excited and then touches magic power detector and it's nothing. He's basically an ordinary human. But honestly, with the ability to level up, who cares what the world perceives you as? By the way, his sister was kind of nonchalant about her brother nearly dying in the dungeon and being in hospital. I don't know, I guess everyone has their own way of dealing with stuff. So, episode covered chapters 11 and 12 and the start of the 13 from the manhwa, so about like 2.5 chapters total. Episode 1 adapted 3.5 chapters, while episode 2 adapted 6.5 chapters. I don't care what others think, I really like this episode because it explained really well how Jinwoo is leveling up and what he must do to get those skill points, and also like the punishment if he doesn't do the task he agreed on doing. Also, we saw his anger and his frustration about being useless and weak. We saw his real emotion. There will be an emotional connection between a viewer and the main protagonist. And I wanted that in the first two episodes. That's why I didn't like those episodes. I always need something, some emotion or backstory about the main character. Like in first two episodes, there was a guy who was really weak and he must go to dungeons to earn some money for his mother, and then all of the crazy stuff happened. That was it. That's why I didn't like the episodes, and this one was really good. We saw a flashback about his mother, how she is in that condition, and that rumors say it's due to the prolonged exposure to mana, and the doctors can only keep her alive. That's it. I liked the pacing. We get to be with weak Jinwoo a little longer and the other characters get some build up. By the way, why people complain about the gate opening? Like they said, a gate again? Haven't the hunters arrived yet? They complain like it's traffic or something. Like, what? I get that Jinwoo wants to make sure he's not weak anymore, but you don't want to be a glass cannon either. Like, what is Jinwoo doing? Make sure to put some points into defense. That training routine on a daily basis is going to get him jacked though. Also, it's ironic that the dungeon's appearance is what caused his mom to become ill, but he has to go into dungeons to afford her life support. Messed up cycle. At the end of the episode, he goes to the dungeon. Someone who couldn't even take down basic monsters before now has to clear one entirely on his own. Goblin fight and dungeon didn't hit the spot that much. I don't know. So far, I don't like the fight scenes. And that's it. It was a cliffhanger ending. And can't wait for next episode. I'll probably make a preview of the next episode, what should we expect and all that stuff. And besides that, there will be a manga review, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.